All right, folks, it is Friday Night Blitz Media Day as we're getting you ready for the 2023 high school football season. And of course, join me right now, the head coach of the Patrick Henry Patriots, entering his 13th year. Hopefully it'll be a lucky 13, Alan Fiddler. And Coach Fiddler, first of all, thank you for joining us on our Friday Night Blitz Media Day.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I tell you, let's look at last year. Now, last year, went 9-3 last year. Won a playoff game, second year in a row, got into that second round. But just your thoughts about last year, because last year did something you haven't done in a while, shared a district title with Salem, that River Ridge district. I know that was a big milestone, but last year probably one of your better seasons you've had.
Yeah, it was an exciting season. Came together at the end and played really well. We got in the second playoff game and had a lot of injuries and ended up 5 or 6 starters hurt in that game, and it got tough from there. But it was a great season and accomplished a lot of really good things.
You know, Coach, when you look at the seasons that you've had, again, 11 straight playoff seasons, and you guys, you know, your 13th year, and you've really now built this into a program. I mean, now it's a program. You know, how special is it to see just the growth of the program and see where it is now compared to when you got here?
Well, it's exciting, but what's really exciting is to see the kids that have gone on and played at the next level and gotten their degrees and come back. You know, this season we've got 4 receivers that are going to play Division I football. And, you know, a great example is Leroy Thomas, who has his degree from VMI, is going to play at Western Michigan this year. And to watch those guys grow and advance is really exciting.
You know, you mentioned that. That's an interesting thing, because I know when I talk to coaches, high school coaches, you know, they see what they have at the high school, but then to see them do things afterwards. It's special, I'm sure, to see, like you said, you got Leroy Thomas who's playing, you know, you obviously Carmelo Taylor and so many other players that are doing stuff at the next level, which obviously shows just the strength of your program.
Yeah, we try to tell our kids, you know, you do the right things in the classroom, do the right things in school, in the community, and come out here and you will get an opportunity. It will present itself, and you know, might not everybody be playing in the ACC or the Big Ten, but you'll get an opportunity somewhere.
Now, looking at this season, first of all, your team, I mean, you pretty much got still a stacked team. I mean, you lost some big names, but you still got big names coming back. Just talk of some of the players that, you know, everybody's going to have their eyes on and see what will happen this coming season.
Well, one of the great things about this season is we have 3 guys that are going to be 4-year starters returning. We have 6 other guys that are going to be 3-year starters. So we've got 9 guys that have started at least 3 seasons, and that's, you know, really unusual in high school football. So we're very excited about it. You got guys like Bodie Kahoun who's committed to Notre Dame. You've got Joey Beasley is, you know, coming back for his 3rd year as a starting quarterback. You got, you know, you got Chuck Webb, who, you know, Arjuan, who's is a beast back there, and you know, we look forward to him having a great season. And there's so many it's hard to name. One of the great things about this season, we feel this is one of the best teams up front that we've had since I've been here. So that should really make things go.
You know, one thing that I do notice about your teams over the years, I mean, it's a dynamic offense. I mean, you run the ball, you pass the ball. But it seems like where it starts for your teams is in the trenches, the offensive and defensive lines. Just talk about the value and the growth that you've had over the years with your offensive and defensive lines.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Zach Hayden has done a great job with the offensive line, coaching those guys. And, you know, we've got 4 starters returning up front. I've got a tight end that's going to be a 3-year starter coming back, and Carson Deary. You know, so we're really excited with our guys up front and seeing where that takes us offensively and defensively.
And then sort of off the field stuff, when you look at classification now, last year, obviously there was talk, and actually the numbers showed that you guys were going to be in Class 6, but the appeal process worked in your favor. You stayed down in Class 5 because you probably were going to be one of the smallest Class 6 teams, but now you're kind of one of the bigger Class 5s. And number 2, you're moving from Region 5D, so they had a lot of Northern Virginia schools, to where you're playing in Region 5C. Obviously, Franklin County, William Fleming is in that region, but you have teams from the Richmond area and the Charlottesville area. From your perspective, just talk about just those aspects, because I'm sure it's obviously important to be in a situation where, you know, you're playing against teams that are real close to your size.
Yeah, I think one thing that helps us is it's just the travel. You know, we're closer. We don't have to go 4.5 hours for a playoff game, and that's been really tough. It's been to do that. You know, fortunately, we went to Massaponax 2 years ago and got a big win there. But to go back-to-back weeks and have to go to Fredericksburg and drive 4.5 hours, and you're getting home at 3 a.m. and it wears on you. So playing teams that are closer, we're excited about. Honestly, don't know a whole lot about them yet because we haven't been in that region, but we'll learn as we go, and we're excited about that.
And then, obviously, I mean, that appeal process, because with the VHSL, it seems like you just don't know how it could go. Right. I mean, when you actually heard that, okay, we're still going to be staying Class 5, just how big was that? Because, I mean, if you're going to Class 6, I mean, that's bigger enrollments, and I'm sure that'll have its challenges. I mean, there's challenges in Class 5, but Class 6 would have been pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think the football is pretty similar when you get at the top levels. They're 5 and 6, they're really good teams, and you're playing against a lot of really good players. But the one thing is, if we would have been Class 6, we'd ended up in the beach region, which would have been really tough situations, especially with travel to get there and play if we'd had to go there in the playoff games. And of course, them coming to us would have been tough as well.
Okay. And then looking at your schedule, if I'm not mistaken, it's a tough schedule because you have eight of your 10 opponents were in the playoffs. And I noticed new on your schedule this year is EC Glass, a team that PH hasn't played since 2008. So just looking at that schedule, I mean, you still got Brookville on there, you got Albemarle, Fleming in your non-district, but you still have the same teams in your district. So just your thoughts just about that schedule.
It's a very difficult schedule, but we're not dodging anybody. We are Class 5 schools, A schools, so we need to step up and play. And I think the toughest thing about it is we've got to go to Lynchburg back-to-back weeks to open the season. So we've got to be ready for that, and we've got to be at the top of our game to start things out.
Yeah. So when you put together a schedule, what do you look for? I mean, when you try to piece together a schedule, because obviously it's about playoff points, playing teams that are as close to Class 5 as you can. But in your non-district, I mean, because you control that more than you do your district. But what do you look for when you piece together your non-district schedule?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just finding teams that are close that have those similar open weeks that are willing to play us. And sometimes that's hard to find. And especially with us being a higher class in the area, we're one of the few 5A schools in the area. So it's not easy to find schools that are willing to play. And when you find one, you need to jump on it. So.
You're like, hey, we're going to jump on this right here. And,
yeah.
And then when you look at, like, say, the EC Glass game, there's familiarity because Coach Lovelace was at Fleming. You have EC Glass. And then Brookville, you've played them regularly as well as William Fleming every year. And then Albemarle. So I'm sure to still have that familiarity with your non-district team is pretty big too.
Yeah, it helps us in preparation. But all those teams are good. They're all good football teams. Albemarle is loaded up. They played well in the playoffs last year. Brookville Glass, Fleming's a big rival. So, and then you got Salem right after that. So it doesn't get easy. We've got to be ready to play early.
So overall, looking at this team, because like I said, you said yourself, this is probably the most talented team you've had since you've been at PH. Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to be the key for you guys to get where you want to go and have that success that you really feel you guys can have this year?
I think we really just need to stay grounded and do our work, put the work in. Not worry about outside noise or what's going on or who's posting what or who's doing what. We just have to come to work every day and put the work in. And if we can do that and stay focused, I think we'll have a really good year. And of course, in high school football, you got to stay healthy. And of course, a couple key injuries, and it can definitely hurt you. But we've got to stay healthy.
What does Friday nights in the fall mean to you?
It's a lot of fun. It's exciting. To me, it's exciting to put together a game plan and then see it actually be put together out on the field and have it work. And that's exciting to me, and the competition of it. And of course, football's huge in this area, and to fill our stadium, and we're down in the bowl, and the new field house has really changed our culture of our team, and having us all right there. And Fridays are a lot of fun, and to go out and compete and put it on the line and see what your work has accomplished.
You mentioned the field house, and it's been it seems like this will be your third year going into it.
Third year, yes.
And it's just crazy to imagine. I feel like it's still new. Yeah. Now that you've it's sunk in, now you have that field house. Now we got stuff going there. now that we're going into the third year of it, just how neat is it to have this? I mean, not too many schools in our area, if at all, or even in the state, have the situation you have with this field house.
Yeah, it's great facilities, and I think really it's really changed our culture, because we are right all there together. We have everything we need as far as film-wise, and being able to have meetings and work out and do everything we need to do right there as a group, and it's kind of our own little area. And that's really, like I say, again, changed the culture and made it really fun to coach.
Well, Coach, first of all, it's not too far away.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the season's right around the corner, so I know you're ready to go after it now.
Yeah, it comes quick, and it's like I say, the older you get, it seems like the faster time flies, and it's like, it feels like we just stopped last season, but we've put in a lot of hard work this winter, and the kids are ready, and we're excited about it.
Good deal. Well, I tell you what, Coach Fiddler, thank you, sir.
Thank
You're
you,
awesome.
Jermaine.
Again,
Appreciate you.
Again, the Patrick Henry Patriots, they open up the season on the road as they take on the Brookville Bees, and that'll be the opener over there at Stinger Stadium. So again, Friday Night Blitz, we're rocking and rolling all season and long. The Patrick Henry Patriots, they're getting ready for the season, and so are we right here at WFXR, as we're your home for Friday Night Blitz.
So just like, how do you feel going into the year?
I feel great going into it. It's just the team we have this year. We're great line or great receiver, the core, and then overall I feel like we have a better team of actual football players this year, which is nice. So
Obviously you guys have a lot of experience. What do you remember about last year and how that all unfolded? Obviously there were some highs, but it didn't end the way you wanted it to.
yes, sir. Last year it was great. We had a great core of the receivers with Jose, Kimbrough, and Mello, the Hellcat, and they're both great. They were doing great at college, but it was just great to have them last year because no one can guard them really, and with having them not being guardable, is you can lob up a pass and they'll catch it every time. But on defensive side, we had a great defense, and I feel like we had one of the best defenses in the Valley, but it just didn't work out the way we wanted to in the playoffs.
You guys lost some guys, but you guys bring back a lot.
Yeah.
How exciting is that to bring back such a core group?
It's very exciting. I think we only lost one lineman, and so we're gonna have a great line this year. We're all pretty old on the line too, so I'm excited about that. And we have a returner, Chuck Webb, the running back. He's great. No one can tackle him. He's the hardest running back I've played against, and so I'm excited about and see what he does this year. And Joey, a returning quarterback, 3-year starter, so it's gonna be great.
Take me into that linebacker room. Just the work you guys put in, the things that you guys talk about. I mean, how does that room work, and how has that evolved over the last few years since you were a freshman?
This last year was my first year at linebacker.
Okay.
So
Where'd you switch from?
I was a safety.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
I gained a little pounds and put me on the linebacker.
Nice, yeah. But how did that evolve into such an important aspect of your team last year?
I thought it was very important of my move because I feel like I had to step up in a big role to a linebacker, which is I personally think is a lot harder and more physical than a safety. And I thought it was a big role change, but I feel like I nailed it on the head. So.
Talking to me about these off-season workouts you guys have been doing, sounds like there's been a lot of buy-in, there's a lot more participation in those
Definitely.
That weight room. I mean, what are those workouts like, and how do you feel like those are going to be the foundations for your success?
I think this, like you said, this is the most kids I've ever seen at workouts ever, and I think with that, it's just what you think was going to happen is going to show better work in the end, and the more payoff. And I feel like the work we're putting in right now is just we should have a great run and go far in the playoffs.
How have you evolved as a football player? I mean, let's even go back further. How did you fall in love with this sport?
Really I feel like every kid has to try it out, football. Flag football or two-hand touch, you just got to try it at least once. And growing up, I played flag, and I played a lot of lacrosse growing up with my dad. But I kind of took a break in middle school, and I picked back up my freshman year, and I played pretty well as a safety, and I started my sophomore year, and I transitioned last year to linebacker. So, I mean, I've just fell in love with the game, and I'm excited about my future with it.
Yeah, you talked about how everyone has to try it. What kept you going though?
It's just there's nothing better than football. It's just you're pretty much put on a field to go hit another person, and you're getting applauded for it. So,
Do you still play lacrosse or?
yes, sir.
Okay, so did you play in the spring?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. How do you feel like being an all-around? I mean, do you play anything in the winter?
No, sir.
Okay. How do you feel like being a multi-sport athlete, and you guys have had such a great camaraderie on the lacrosse field too? How do you feel like that helps you as a football player, and maybe vice versa?
I think both sports help out a lot with each other because lacrosse, it's a lot of hips, and football, you're going to need that. And in football, you got to have that physicalness that lacrosse has. So I feel like it helps each other out, vice versa.
Clearly, you've always been athletic. Does athletics like run in the family for you? Like,
Yes, sir.
can you talk a little bit more about that? Like,
Yes, sir. My grandpa, he played a couple years in the NFL for the Dolphins.
okay.
And then my dad's dad played at Purdue for football for a while. And then my dad played college lacrosse at Butler, and his brother played college lacrosse with him at Butler. And my sister, she plays at Pittsburgh right now for lacrosse. And then I'm going to go off to Notre Dame for football.
Okay.
And my mom was just a great athlete. It's just she got tired out of swimming. She was going to go do it, but just decided to live out close to where she lived and go to Purdue.
Gotcha. What was your grandfather's name?
One was Pete Bodine and Errol Cahoun.
Yeah, that's right. I'm awful with names, the ones I can like.
Yeah.
And then Notre Dame. So how did that all kind of play out for you? I mean, how did that recruiting process go, and what made you want to commit to Notre Dame?
So it was crazy because the whole process I was committed to Ohio State for lacrosse, and so I had to kind of keep it on the low. But after I decommitted from Ohio State and we talked about it with the coaching staff, they were like, "I want to go see you on the big screen. I want to go see you play football, do what you love." And the process it was long, but it was fun.
Was that a tough decision a little bit, or I mean, because it sounds like you're deciding between two sports and trying to figure it out, and was that a tough decision for you at all, or was it kind of like because it's Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame. I feel like it puts you. It's just going to set you up for nothing but success in the future. A degree from Notre Dame is one of the most. It's like one of the coolest things you can get, and with the football team they have coming up, I think they're going to have a great season overall, and I'm really excited to see myself there and how much I can do to help.
I've been there once when Tech played there. I think it was in 2019. I'm sure, obviously, you must have visited. Obviously, so I mean, can you just take me through like what that was like to be in that stadium, such historic, and everything that comes with it?
Yeah, everything around it looks like a big old castle, and it's all you got the Golden Dome, you got Touchdown Jesus, and it's just it's a beautiful place. The stadium, it's 80,000, so that would be pretty cool to play in front of.
You're not the first guy to like commit to like D1 athletics. There's been a steady stream of you guys. What is it about PH? What Coach Fiddler's been able to do that has really set you up for success long term?
I think just with all of PH, I think we have 2,500 kids. And Fiddler gets to pick out the best athletes at our school, and I feel like over the years we've just produced great athletes, and all the athletes have been multi-sport athletes. So we all play more sports than just football. I think it's great that we're all getting the chances to go play and fill the dreams that we want to do.
Have you thought about what you want to study yet, or not?
I'm not going that far yet.
Yeah.
No.
Please. I don't even know what I mean for dinner later, so
Yeah, no.
let's not get too far. Back to football in your senior year. What are some of the goals you guys have as a senior group going into what is obviously y'all's final year?
Well, first off, I just want everyone to have a healthy season. I feel like that's the most important part of all of football. But everyone wants to have a winning season, and I want to too. You don't want to go in there with a bad record, or go out with a bad record. But I'm just excited just to get back on the field because it's been a whole year, and everyone's excited. We're all buzzing on the field right now. We're all doing all these like sled pushes, hills, and it's gonna be worth it. And that's all I know.
The senior class described as experienced, hardworking, physical. Anything else that makes this group special that can carry you guys pretty deep?
I feel like the senior class we have is a great bond. It's because I feel like the senior class, we've all played with each other the whole time. Like it's like half the seniors are starting or half the seniors aren't starting. So they're like half the seniors now we're on JV or now we're on varsity. It's just I feel like we've all played with each other throughout middle school and all that.
Well, with senior year comes a lot of last first practice, last first game. What are some of the emotions that you think you might encounter? Obviously, probably trying to balance that with focusing on the field. But like, how do you envision what that first home opener is going to be like for you?
It's always going to be an awesome feeling, but I feel like you gotta play like it's your last, which it truly is in some situations. So I feel like I just got to give it my all no matter what and play 100%. And I feel like I want to encourage the rest of the team to do the same.
What do you hope is the legacy that either you or the senior class as a whole leaves behind when you guys, step off the field?
I want a state championship.
Okay.
Yeah,
We can do it.
I want one.
You'll always be state champs in my books, but I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man. Anything else you want to add?
Oh, all good.
All right, awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So going into this upcoming year, just how you feel coming off of last year. I know it didn't end the way you wanted to, but obviously, you guys did a lot of good things last year as well. Just how do you feel going into this last year?
I feel good. We still got a good bit of our players from the year before, and I feel like we can get back into the playoffs, have a good little run, and win. Like that's our only goal for real, just to win.
I'm sure there's like a group text or something among all the seniors, or at least some of the seniors, like the captains on the team. What are you guys talking about as you guys inch closer to the start of the season? Talking about goals, talking about how you guys are going to help lead the younger guys. I mean, like, what are some of the conversations you guys are having?
We just talk about how we should just be more serious, getting closer and closer to actually playing, and how we should just try to be the best we can, actually show up and just play.
How has the mentality changed, especially among the senior group, over the years? You talk about taking things more seriously. Talk about how just, your mindset may have changed over the years as you guys go into this final year.
So by every year, we've gotten more and more serious and just better and better over time. And I feel like this is the best group we've had in a long time, and I feel like we can really go somewhere and win.
What is it about this group that is special? You talk about, guys taking each other seriously, come right around the team. What is it about this group specifically that makes you guys stand out, unique?
We're just bigger and more bonded together. Got that team chemistry. We could really just be eye to eye with each other, and if there's any problems, we could just fix it.
How does experience play a role going into this year? Obviously, again, you guys bring back a lot of experience. Do you think that's going to be a big factor in your success this year?
Yeah, like when you have like a lot of players of experience, like we do right now. Like we have a lot of seniors coming back, and a lot of like up and rising juniors. You have like a lot of knowledge, and if anybody's younger or something like that and they don't know something, you can always just pass it down to somebody if they don't know.
A lot of the success starts in the weight room and also in practice. Obviously, we're still a couple weeks away from camp starting. What are you guys going to focus on right when you get out of the gate, right when you start that fall camp?
Conditioning. Like, you have to make sure your stamina's right, make sure you can actually run and just get out there. Because without conditioning, you just tired and sloppy.
Yeah, for sure. What do you like about the team right now, especially coming back? And what I guess like it's going to be your final year, so I guess like what are you thinking about as far as like your goals are concerned going into like this final year?
As a team, all I can say is just try our best to win like we have been the past few years, and just listen to our coaches because they'll lead us in the right way.
Speaking of coaches, what's it been like playing under Coach Fiddler? To me, he's kind of a stoic guy. But what do we not see when we're out there on a Friday night?
He's a very emotional guy. When we win games, like he doesn't show it on camera, but he's an emotional guy. He gets personal with some of the players. We brought him to the playoffs. We've won games for him.
Yeah.
We bring energy for him. He's a great coach.
How has he made you a better player and even a better person?
Really, he just teaches you the game, and the game itself teaches you how to be a man. Brings you responsibilities, gives you actual goals to work towards, and yeah, just a nice coach to be around.
Yeah, for sure. How did you get into football? Like, how did you fall in love with this sport? Where did that all start?
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't start playing football really till I was a freshman in high school.
That's fair. So I got thrown into it.
So I was walking in the hallway. He saw me. He asked if I wanted to play football, and I just got stuck.
Best decision you've made though, or like
One of the best.
One of the best. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's a fair question to ask. I mean, how do you describe this journey you've been on over the last 3 years, going into your 4th year?
Hard. Hard, tiring. Like it works your body, but in the end, once you reach that goal, you just feel good.
What would make you happy at the end of this season? Like you look at the schedule coming up, you look at the games you're about to play. We talked about goals. What would make you feel like you left everything out there on the table, that no regrets?
If we have a better record than we did the year before, as long as we have improvement, ain't nothing better than that.
Yeah, we got a couple weeks until more than a couple weeks,
Right.
more like a couple months, going into football season. What do you think is the mindset going into this year, especially for you? It's your final year.
Right. I think this year is more of a bend, don't break mentality, and just make sure that we go all the way and just don't because we usually start off pretty good, and then we get better each week, and then by the time we go to playoffs, it takes a hard turn. So that's what happened last season.
How do you feel like you've grown as a football player since like your freshman year?
I think I've gotten a lot bigger, and also my reads and how I step and my agility work's gotten a lot better.
As a senior class, you guys have evolved and grown. What are you guys like talking about right now as you guys are getting ready for your final year? Obviously, you guys have some big goals.
Right. I think right now is just we got a couple games on the schedule that we wanna push through for, and just deep run in the playoffs and stay healthy. That's the biggest thing actually.
Yeah.
It's just everybody staying healthy. Injuries.
You mentioned a couple games on the schedule. Any stand out to you?
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything stands out, but I just know that we got a good schedule, but it's gonna get us ready for the long run.
Sounds like you guys bring back a lot of experience. How crucial is that going to be for you
Oh
guys?
yeah, that's a big deal. I think that's a big factor in it. Last year we did have a lot of seniors and juniors, but the year before that we were young. Now we've all grown up and a lot bigger, faster, and stronger.
You talk about growing up. What are some of the things you guys have learned about yourselves?
I think definitely playing as a team and being leaders, because I think we were up and down and inconsistent, and I think this year we're really gonna have what it takes to stick it.
How did you get into football, by the way?
How did I get into football?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been playing since my 4th grade year, and I actually am from Botetourt. So I moved here my freshman year, and I played at PH. This will be my 4th year.
Gotcha. What's it been like playing under Coach Fiddler? He's kind of a stoic guy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I enjoy it, and he's this year I think he's really I can see he's a lot more excited about the team and the season, and me and Coach Fiddler get along, and I respect him.
What do you think that is that he's getting more excited about it compared to previously?
I think-
I've never seen him excited before in my life.
No, trust me. I think that he knows what we got here special, and I think we got it together this year, and a lot of dudes in the weight room, a lot of dudes gotten bigger, so.
You're going to your senior year. It's going to be a lot of like last first. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
yeah.
like so. What are you thinking about as you go into like your last your last
Right.
opening game of the year? I mean, what's that going to be like for you?
I'm just gonna try to take it all in while I can, and just give it all I got. And because I don't got many more games. So
How do you feel going into your junior year?
I mean, it's good. I've had a transfer to school, so it's been rough at first, but it's getting better now.
Where were you before?
North Cross.
Okay. Is this going to be your first year with PH, or is this
No, it's my second
your
year.
second year? So, what was the transition like with going from North Cross to PH?
I went to public school my whole life, so it wasn't too much of a transition when I came back. But at first, it was a transition going over to North Cross, yeah, for sure.
Was there like a reason behind it, just like putting it better?
No, it wasn't really, the best option for me.
Gotcha. Fair enough. What did you learn about yourself as a player last year?
I knew that I was a team player, because we had a lot of guys last year that can really go get the ball, score every play. So, you had to really share last year. it wasn't really nobody's one-man show.
For sure. So obviously this team brings back a lot of experience
Yes, sir.
going into this year. What's the chemistry like? I mean, obviously you guys haven't even started fall camp for this year, but you guys bring again a lot of experience from last year. How do you describe what that camaraderie or that chemistry is like?
It definitely helps because we've been playing together since middle school, a lot of us. So it's like bringing that back and then everybody being seniors and juniors and things like that. It's gonna definitely, we already kind of clicked and we just gonna keep adding it on before fall.
How much does familiarity and experience, how do you feel like that's going to be a big factor going into this year?
It's gonna be a lot because last year, like I said, we had a lot of transfers and a lot of guys that were already previously had the ball every play and things like that. So we all had to kind of come together. And this year, we already know what everybody can do. You know, we just really just get into it, and we're gonna be more. I think we're gonna be more solid as a team and more than just an athletic team.
Well, that being said, you look at last year. What do you think was y'all's strength, on the field, that can you guys can build off of that going into this year?
That we can build off last year that we had.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of guys still hungry from last year because we thought we were supposed to go deep, and then a lot of guys got injured at the last game, and a lot of things happened. So we just never really we clicked a couple games, but it's like we never really clicked all the way. And this year I think we're gonna be able to do that because we've playing together for a while.
You guys talk about trying to stay healthy because you talked about it being injured and how that played a role in how the season ended. What do you guys do in the off season to try to make sure you guys are well conditioned, you guys are still healthy, you guys can go into the season really strong?
Well, we do a lot of lifting. 3 days a week. We going outside, all that, and a lot of guys this year that's different than last year. Everybody's getting work. It's not just people just working at the PH workouts. Everybody really getting workouts out of there. So it's we getting more time and more time.
And that means more time together, right? I mean, how do you feel like that's going to help you guys? Like you said, you guys can just hit the ground running once the season starts, right?
Definitely.
Let me ask you, in football, how did you fall in love with the sport?
I mean, I had the ball my whole life. I started when I was 4, so it ain't really never been a year where football comes around and not already into it. It's kind of always been year round.
Was there a reason for that? Was it your parents just put a football in your hands and you just kind
No,
of?
it's just I just know what football can do for my family and me. So I really want to make that dream come true one day.
How do you feel like you've grown as a football player since you were 4 years old?
Oh, a lot. I mean, stronger, faster, bigger, definitely more more knowledge about the game now. That's the biggest part.
And then what's it been like working with Coach Fiddler?
Oh, it's been good. I mean, he's never really your friend. He's always your coach. He's always straightforward about everything. You're not gonna just sit there and lie to you. So it definitely helps for sure.
You're going into your junior year. There's a lot of seniors on this team too. You've seen what they've been able to do, and the kind of leadership they have. What do you feel like you've learned from the guys who are about to become seniors?
I mean, I've been playing with all those guys too. So it's really we just all going in and pitching to the younger or guys who can really got potential, and they just need to find their talent and find their skill, find what they're good at, and we'll be good.
Finally, there's nothing like playing on Friday Night Lights, put on that jersey. Can you just take me through what that feels like when you're running out onto the field, especially what's going to be like for you that first night of the season?
I mean, it's gonna be great, especially that we play in a team that we've lost to a couple years in a row. So we really got some inf going into the first week.
Well, looking forward to seeing you on the first week. All right.